What can 160 years of experience teach you about the future? When it comes to protecting what matters, Pacific Life provides life insurance, retirement income, and employee benefits for people and businesses building a more confident tomorrow. Strategies rooted in strength and backed by experience. Ask a financial professional how Pacific Life can help you today. Pacific Life Insurance Company, Omaha, Nebraska, and in New York, Pacific Life and Annuity, Phoenix, Arizona.
At Walgreens, we know flu season can feel a little chaotic. So we're going to give you our flu info
in a meditation, keeping you calm, just like a certified Walgreens pharmacist will do if you're a little needle nervous. So walk in or schedule an appointment, and Walgreens will handle the rest.
That's the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Deadlines move fast. So should your takeoffs. With Lowe's Blueprint Takeoff, you can turn blueprints into competitive quotes. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting faster and easier. And when you're ready, we'll deliver everything you need straight to the job site. Visit the Pro Desk today to get started. Lowe's. We help. You save.
Welcome to the Covert Narcissism Podcast. I'm your host, Renee Swanson. I am not a therapist, and you are not a victim. Last week, we talked about what triangulation is, how covert narcissists use it to control the narrative, divide the relationships, and keep everyone just slightly off balance. But seeing the pattern is only the beginning. Once you recognize it, that's really a good thing. Awareness is huge in all of this journey with covert narcissism. But then there's the next question. Well, now what? You see the triangulation, but how do you handle it? Because knowing that you're triangulated doesn't automatically make it stop. And in fact, it can actually make it worse, especially once you stop playing along. So today we are talking about how to handle triangulation, both while you're still in the relationship and even after you've left, because once you've left, it doesn't necessarily stop. We'll also talk about one of the most heartbreaking situations of all, which is when your children are being triangulated and they're being triangulated against you. Welcome back to the Covert Narcissism Podcast, where we shine a light on the hidden dynamics that twist love into control and manipulation, and they twist peace into confusion. So let's start here. Triangulation is not about miscommunication. This isn't just a misunderstanding or a miscommunication. It's actually manipulation. You see, a covert narcissist thrives when everyone around them is uncertain, uneasy, slightly turned against one another. They thrive in that chaos and that drama. Confusion is one of their control mechanisms. So when you hear things like, well, your mom's just overreacting, or your coworker said that you're hard to work with, or your friend told me that they don't trust you, it's rarely about the words themselves. It's actually about the placement of those words. You see, they drop just enough information to make you question the relationship with that other person. And then they sit back and they just watch what happens. Triangulation keeps the narcissist at the center. They become the information hub. They become that one that you're running to find out what's really going on. They become the interpreter of everyone's motives, of everyone's, perceptions and thoughts. They even can play the role of peacekeeper who, quote, is just trying to help. I'm just trying to help you guys get along, when really they're the ones creating all the chaos. It is one of the most disorienting experiences to go through, because everyone else starts to look like the problem, and the relationships that you trusted, you don't trust anymore, but you don't even really know why, because the real manipulation is happening behind closed doors. It's happening very subtly, one-on-one. Once you understand that, you can stop asking yourself why they're saying these things and actually start asking, what do they gain by saying these things? That right there should open your eyes up a little bit. Are they truly helping you in a situation? or are they gaining something from it? That awareness alone begins to loosen the hold, and awareness is huge. I've said that many, many times. Now, when you're still in the relationship with the covert narcissist, this is the stage where you still share the same space, emotionally, physically, mentally, and so on, with this person who is creating the triangle. You may not be ready to leave, or it may not be safe to. It might not even be a thought in your head right now, and that's fine. So, for handling the triangulation, your goal is not confrontation. It is not to go point blank at the covert narcissist. That's going to backfire way more often than not. Instead, handling the triangulation requires some strategy. So here's this process. I'm going to give you a few steps here. Number one, refuse to be the messenger. If they try to pull you into the middle, then you say something like, I'd rather hear that directly from them. Or you might say, no, I will talk to them myself. You might even say, let's talk about this together as a group. Now, understand that that could backfire because putting them in the middle of it, can cause things to be really explosive. So I don't know if I would recommend that one, but you telling them, I'd rather talk about this as a group might just cause them to back off because they don't want that either. Now, you're calmly refusing to carry the messages, from this, covert narcissist in your life who they're trying to tell you, well, so and so said this about you. Your response is, I'd rather go talk to them directly. I'd rather go, hear it from them directly. Covert narcissists count on you to believe them. They count on you to validate what they are saying. They want you to say, really? I can't believe they said that. Because it keeps you focused on them. It's very validating to them to hear that. And when you stop, they lose one of their favorite control points and they might push back. They might say something like, well, I'm just trying to help you two get along. You can respond to that, but your response just simply, hey, I appreciate that, but I'd rather handle my relationships directly. That is all you need. Short, calm, and done. Number two is stop explaining your intentions. You will feel an almost magnetic pull to explain yourself, to defend yourself, to justify, to validate, to make them understand your thoughts, your feelings, intentions, reasons, perspective. But every word you say can and will be used against you. It will be twisted somehow. It will be manipulated somehow. And if not directly to you, it will be manipulated and twisted to this other person that's the other corner of the triangle. So instead of getting pulled into debates with the person that's creating the triangle, the covert narcissist, then you can just respond with, I see it differently, and that's okay. When they're, unloading on you what this person said and, how they really feel about you, instead of jumping on that and kind of, in essence, teaming up with the covert narcissist, which is what they want, instead of that, let them know, well, I see it differently, and that's okay. Or you're allowed to have your perspective, but I'm allowed to have mine. Don't get on that pull to defend and justify and explain. No, just leave it there. You're not proving yourself, you're not justifying, you're just preserving your energy by not engaging with their triangulation. Number three is to really anchor yourself in truth. In these situations, the narcissist creates constant confusion. They twist reality. And so this creates distortion, like their reality is very warped, and you need something concrete to return to. So in these situations, write things down. Keep these notes, but keep short notes, not to build a case. You're not going to show this to anyone. This is, at least not necessarily, this is for you so that you can stay grounded in what's real. So write down the facts, write down what happened with this other person, write down the things that they said to you. If the triangle is between you and your child, with the covert narcissist, being the one that's interjecting, then document the things that are happening between you and that child. Not from your spouse's perspective, but from your own. You might write down something like, we had a really good conversation today. My child said X, whatever, and I said Y. And you kind of write that down. And you might even put that I felt that the conversation was calm and open and genuine and that things were good. Well, then when the triangulation starts, that small record helps to keep your mind steady because confusion is not just emotional, it's physiological. Your nervous system is built and trained, it's really trained to respond to the covert narcissist. And when your nervous system starts to respond to them coming in going, well, our child told me that you had a horrible conversation with them, and they're trying to flip all this at you. Your nervous system is going to feel that. Like, no, wait, this was all good. And you're going to feel that pull to defend and justify. Instead, you've written it down. You've written down how that conversation went. You don't have to write down all the details, but enough that keeps you grounded in your truth, not the covert narcissist truth. Work on believing in your own relationships with others, not through the covert narcissist. Now, I want to make an important note here. If your son or daughter did say something differently to your spouse, I want you to understand that you are not the only one in fight or flight mode when talking to your spouse. And this is important. Please hear this. Your kids are in that fight or flight mode too. They are in their survival responses, their trauma responses. They are in a defensive posture. So they might say things that they don't necessarily mean the way that they say them or the way that they sound. They're walking on eggshells too, just like you are. So they might take steps that are not the way they actually think or feel. You need to give them that understanding. You need to give them that grace. Okay, the covert narcissist will be very quick to bring these discrepancies up to you. They will exploit them to gain your attention, your reactions, your validation, even against their own child. You need to be really grounded in your own truth, your own perspective. Remind yourself that the reason you're listening to a podcast on covert narcissism is because this person in your life has a pattern of manipulating and twisting things. Give grace to the other victims of this as well. Step number 4 is choose when not to engage. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. If they drop a comparison or drop a dig, well, Sarah never minded when I did that, you can simply pause and walk away. You don't need to defend yourself. In fact, I'm going to encourage you not to defend yourself. You don't need to give, a lecture, an explanation, a justification. No. You are teaching them now that bait no longer works. Or at least you might not be teaching them because it's hard to teach them. But you are standing in your own truth that you will not be baited. Even if they accuse you of being cold or unkind, don't take that bait either. They are the ones being cold and unkind. You need to remember that even if you somehow manage to make peace on this one issue, whatever it is on the table at the time, there are 20 more issues waiting in the wings. They are right there ready to be dropped in as bait again. You're allowed to just walk away. Because getting one issue resolved isn't going to solve anything because, like I said, there's plenty more where that came from. Your desire for peace and for calm is a good desire. And
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Cuando los niños no juegan, crecen sin creatividad y entonces ahí van, queriendo ser como todos los demás, sin jugar con su imaginación mientras dicen, estoy aburrido. Gushers, Fruit by the Foot y Fruit Roll-Ups están hechos para jugar y dejar que su imaginación sea libre. Niños felices hacen adultos felices. Gushers, Fruit by the Foot y Fruit Roll-Ups, you better be playing.
you do not need any justification to back that up. Now, after you've left the relationship, I do want to say leaving the relationship does not end the triangulation. It just changes it. It changes the form. The narcissist still needs control over the story. They still will, create their own narrative, and they will work hard to make sure that's the narrative that everyone believes. And once you stop feeding them directly, they will turn to other people. So you are no longer jumping on their bait, their hook, but they're going to turn to other people for that. They're going to reach out to mutual friends, to family members, to acquaintances. They will paint themselves as the calm and reasonable one and you as being unbalanced. It's painful when people believe them, but the truth takes time. They're stirring up chaos now, but the truth has a way of showing up. So here's how you navigate this. Stay out of their narrative. You do not need to defend yourself to every person they recruit. And in fact, as soon as you start defending yourself, you look guilty. Don't defend yourself. You can simply say, that's their version. I'm not going to discuss it. That's okay. That's not weakness. That's actually empowering because you're no longer jumping on that defense wagon. It stops this endless tug of war over perception. They can have their perception, but I'm going to stand in mine. You are stepping out of that spinning world, and over time, your character will show up for itself. Your calmness, your consistency, your desire for peace will speak louder than their distortion. Number 2 is to keep communication short and documented. If you do have to stay in contact for kids, property, logistics, any of that, keep your messages brief, factual, emotion-free, direct, not mean, just direct. You can say, I can pick up the kids at 5 p.m. Please confirm this. That's it. You don't need any explanations like, well, I have a doctor's appointment and so I can't, or last week that didn't work. Don't add all the extra information. That is what we tend to do. And I'm going to say all you're doing is opening up the door for more manipulation. No, take out all the extras, take out all the excuses, justifications, any of that, because they can't twist what isn't there. So take out all of these things that they are using in this triangle against you. Step 3 is expect the smear campaign. This part hurts, but it is common. The narcissist will often use triangulation as a weapon after separation. They are going to play the victim, they're going to gain sympathy, and this is how they gain control over the narrative. You might be tempted to rush out and defend yourself, but hold steady. Don't do that. People will see the truth in time. Your integrity will outlast their performance. Their character will show up. Eventually, it's going to show up. Let your character speak for itself. Now, when it's your kids being triangulated, this is where I think the pain hits the deepest. When your children are caught in the triangle, every instinct in you wants to protect, to explain, to fix. But the truth is, you cannot control what the narcissistic person tells them. You can't do it. But you can control what they experience with you. So focus on your relationship with each of those kids. Let your relationship with your child be about you and that child. Focus on creating safety with them. If your child says something to you like, Dad says you're always angry, do not respond with, that's not true. Your dad's lying again. Okay, that's the wrong answer. Don't respond with, well, your dad's the one that's actually angry all the time. We're tempted to say that, but it's not what your child needs to hear right then. It's not going to help them. Instead, respond with, thank you for telling me what you heard. That took courage. I want you to know that it's okay to talk about how you feel with me. You might say things like, you don't ever have to choose between us. It's okay. That's not your place. Any of this is validating to your child. You might even say, I hear the confusion in you, and I'm sorry. Tell me how you feel. Let this be about your child finding emotional safety with you. Don't panic. Don't defend. Just give them calmness, love, and truthfulness. Your children will remember how you made them feel, not the words that you said in defense. They're going to remember what they experience with you. Sometimes your child will repeat cruel things. They might even sound like a little version of the covert narcissist, and it's heartbreaking. But remember, They are surviving too. They've learned to mirror the person with the most emotional power in the house. They learn to mirror the one who is the meanest person in the house. It's not betrayal. This is a trauma response. It's an adaptation. It's survival mode. Give them grace. Let them be in survival mode without punishing them for it. You can say things to them like, hey, you don't have to defend yourself. It's okay. I trust you. I know this is hard for all of us. Give them emotional safety. These statements can bring the temperature down in an instant, and it tells them you are safe here. You don't have to choose sides. Every calm, consistent interaction you have with your child becomes a counterweight to the chaos and drama that they're dealing with the other parent. Even after you're free, the effects of triangulation linger. You may find it hard to trust anyone. You're going to second guess your tone. You're going to over-explain. You're going to be tempted to defend yourself. You might even shut down when conflict arises. This is the residue of living in this world of covert narcissism for too long. Start by recognizing it without judgment. When you notice yourself over-explaining, pause, take a deep breath. You can even say to yourself, I'm safe now. I don't have to convince anyone of who I am. This is healing in real time. And when you do connect with people who were also caught in that triangle, give them that same grace too. I cannot say that enough. You can say things to them like, I think we both got pulled into something painful here. Or we were doing the best we could in a really confusing situation. It is time for repair. No blame, no shame, no pointing fingers, no whose fault everything is. No, it's time for repair. Triangulation thrives in confusion, competitiveness, defensiveness, but calmness, clarity, and grace, that breaks the triangle. So whether you're still in the relationship or long gone from it, your power lies in how you respond, not in how you react. You don't need to expose them to everyone. You just need to stop performing in their story. When you model calm, other people feel it. When you speak truth without defense, other people sense that. When you show grace to people stuck in survival mode, you're creating safety. And safety is the one thing that will break the narcissistic system. That is how you start to end the triangle, one grounded moment at a time. I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. You have been listening to the Covert Narcissism Podcast, where we break apart the insidious nature of these incredibly destructive and infinitely frustrating individuals. If you are caught up in this crazy-making relationship and drowning in self-doubt, guilt, or rumination, please reach out to me anytime. I offer individualized live coaching in both group and individual settings. We can find the right program for you. You do not need to go through this alone. You can find all of that information on my website at covertnarcissism.com. You can also reach out to me by email at Renee, R-E-N-E-E, at covertnarcissism.com. I do look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Remember, I am not a therapist, and you are not a victim. I am a coach, and you are a survivor. The information provided by Renee Swanson, Covert Narcissism Podcast, and CNG Life Coaching is for educational purposes only and is not to be used for diagnosis purposes. It is not intended to be a substitute for clinical care. Please consult a healthcare provider for guidance specific to your case. This material discusses narcissism in general. Renee shares stories from her personal experience as well as from those that she has worked with for several years. Her material does not claim that any specific person has narcissism and should not be used to refer to any specific person as having narcissism. Permission is not granted to link to or repost this material to support an allegation or support a claim that any specific person is a narcissist. That would be an unauthorized misuse of the material and the information provided. Thank you.
Cuando los niños no juegan, crecen sin creatividad y entonces ahí van, queriendo ser como todos los demás, sin jugar con su imaginación mientras dicen, estoy aburrido. Gushers, Fruit by the Foot y Fruit Roll-Ups están hechos para jugar y dejar que su imaginación sea libre. Niños felices hacen adultos felices. Gushers, Fruit by the Foot y Fruit Roll-Ups, You better be playing.